I'm here at the Siegel Center. It is the heart of VCU athletics. Some athletes, like volleyball players and basketball players, have plenty of access to resources like these courts. James River. Now we know the James is a key source of water all across our region, so let's take a closer look here. Obviously voting has wrapped up for the day, but I'm told turnout was pretty high all day long. People started lining up around 9 a.m. Project starts at practice in studios like this. Then the dancers take their talent, passion, and culture all across Central Virginia and even beyond. In October, investigators originally ruled that Brooks was hit while trying to cross from one side of the busy Midlothian Turnpike to the other. Maryland police tell us this is something everyone should continue to pay attention to. This recent incident is indicative of a continued streak of violence. To take in this massive space around me, by 2026 it will be unrecognizable, and today marked a symbolic first step in that direction. Boy Finn here has had quite a busy, crazy day running around and playing. Now we're about to go on one last walk, so we're getting him all leashed up because, you know, we're going to go walking on these streets, which are county property. Neighbors tell me everything seemed quiet as normal last night. They didn't hear any unusual noises or any gunshots. But the puzzling nature of this incident doesn't take away from the sadness that those who knew the victims are still feeling. That's right. I am not qualified to throw one of these, but those who are will be out here doing so in about an hour. Despite lengthy discussion, members were not able to reach an agreement, so both proposals advanced without recommendation, which basically means core mission is to educate. So today we're here learning not just about the beauty of African culture, but a few dance moves along the way. So try to keep up. Technically here in Richmond, as you can see, but let me take you this way just a little bit. You might barely be able to make it out, but I'm right on the border of Henrique Bridge. But let me show you right here. You can still make out the remnants of some of that caution tape mapping out the area. This discussion is a reminder of that thin line between breaking the law and sharing your views. And I think my favorite show is on. Alexa, change to TV channel 8.
Okay.
Here outside VCU's Basketball Development Center, and you should have seen this place earlier today. The energy was unmatched. Fans cheered, screamed, smiled, and laughed. We even had the chance to talk with some of the players about Friday's big game. The fire was marked under control just after 9 o'clock this morning. Now, you might be able to make out that faint side, and here he can do whatever he wants. But once we step foot on county-owned property like this street, he's gonna need this leash. Now, 3 years since the track's closure, officials hope to move forward with a plan that'll keep racing alive.
Now your feet are going 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Pride. Just gonna clap it over. Strength. Yes, you got it. And love.
All of those values woven into 51 years of Izibu Mutu, or universal family in the Yoruba language.
We do West African dances, and I feel connected to my roots, my African ancestral roots.
Virginia's premier West African dance group, founded on VCU's campus in 1973 by a woman named Tanya Dennis. Flash forward to 2005. Lashara Smith-Scott went looking for a dance group to join when she moved to Richmond. Instead, the now executive director found a family.
You can feel the ancestors with you when you're dancing the dance, when you're really in the groove.
And Izibu Mutu artistic director Maya Walker-Taylor says she first felt that groove in the womb.
From birth to now, dance is really all I know. It's my passion. I see it as my prayer. Ooh, it's a way for me to just connect, not just within my community, but to my peers, to teach the youth. It's all I know.
Part of the team's core mission is to educate. So today we're here learning not just about the beauty of African culture, but a few dance moves along the way. So try to keep up.
Everyone brings a fresh perspective what their experience is. So we have, our classes are not just African American, our classes are made up of the community.
Every dance has a meaning, each movement a message. One of Maya's favorite styles is Sabar dance from Senegal.
Sabar dance requires the dancer to be confident. It also represents the woman's body. So it can be very powerful, but graceful at the same time.
Dancers learn village style, expressing themselves across the stage. It takes hard work and dedication, but it's not about all dancing the same. Each performer brings pieces of themselves and their own experiences to their art.
It's so important that young girls are aware of their history and where they come from, or where their ancestors come from. It's heartwarming. It's heartwarming. It brings me to tears sometimes.
The U.S. EPA lists concerns ranging from things like aging infrastructure and corroded pipes to chemical leaks and rust found in Richmond's water plant filter rooms. That all can sound very scary, so I asked an engineer not affiliated with the city or state to help us understand what these findings actually mean for our drinking water supply.
The water is going to be safe to drink.
That's an answer many Richmonders may be seeking right now after a week under a boil water advisory and amid the surfacing of a concerning 2022 Environmental Protection Agency report on Richmond's water system.
The U.S. EPA came in and did an inspection in 2022. They had a number of recommendations and areas of concern with respect to the plant.
A weather-related power outage last week, launching the area into a water crisis. Now that leaders say Richmond's tap water is back and clean, we're waiting on an after-action report about what went wrong at that water treatment facility. Meanwhile, engineer Joel Paulson is walking us through what stands out in the eyes of a non-city affiliated industry expert.
Rust, debris, those sorts of things, sedimentation in the water, smells, all of those things were noted within the report. And that would be an indication that the water is being delivered through an aging water system.
The licensed engineer clarifies the city is still federally required to monitor water quality. So even with contamination risks listed in this federal report, like chemical leaks and algae growth around the pipes and gauges, testing would show if there was an active contamination threat. The expert suggests it's a deeper, more long-term concern about protocol and the city's infrastructure holding up in future crises.
Inadequate monitoring and maintenance. So there were many notes that talked about not modern day or up-to-date instrumentation used for monitoring.
Last week, Richmond's Department of Public Utilities Director April Bingham addressing the EPA report and whether its findings were connected to the unfolding crisis.
I can't right today say that they were connected. The response and research that we've done to provide our response back to EPA has been very thorough. Two totally separate incidents.
Paulson says while last week's crisis is, quote, extremely rare for a community of Richmond's size, it's not uncommon for water systems to be old. In fact, it's a topic he says needs attention all around.
We do need to reinvest in the nation's infrastructure. And I think cases like Richmond and others that have happened around the country are all indications that we need to do a better job of replacing things before they get to the point of failure.
April Bingham says she has addressed the 2022 EPA report, and I have requested access to her response so we can get some clarification. It's also worth noting the city has reported 22 water main breaks since last Tuesday. Paulson says a high incidence of water main breaks like Richmond is known for is another hint that the system is old and needs investment and replacement. The last time I saw Denise Smith was when she testified in court earlier this year during Amari Pollard's jury trial. I want you to take a look at this FBI compiled security footage. 8 News first showed it to you after Pollard pleaded guilty to fatally shooting Sean Jackson. Here you see Pollard running into this Laurel Street parking garage moments after the shooting. Now this person right here is Denise Smith, Pollard's first point of contact.
405, I have the gun over here on Main Street. Stay right here.
June 6th. 2023. VCU Police Safety Ambassador Denise Smith knew shots rang out outside Huguenot High School's graduation ceremony. She knew the area was on lockdown, but she didn't know the shooter was in her arms.
I'm sorry. I'm done for.
No, don't touch it. Don't touch the gun.
Amari Pollard crying out in this Laurel Street parking garage after fatally shooting graduate Sean Jackson. Later this past February, Smith, Pollard's first point of contact after the tragedy, testifying prior to Pollard's abrupt guilty plea. Now, she's facing the memories publicly for the first time.
Honestly, I thought he was just an average citizen running through the parking deck, trying to get into the parking deck safely. He was very flustered, scared, and so I just walked up to him, and the biggest thing he asked me is he was worried his grandma was going to get shot.
Pollard visibly in a state of panic, appearing to point the gun at his head, contemplating running, and sobbing to Smith that he feared for his life. Smith earning a Valor Award for her quick thinking in this moment. Acting swiftly, you see as she successfully de-escalates the situation, going back and forth with the then 19-year-old.
Put the gun down. Put the gun down. Walk away. Walk away.
Eventually disarming Pollard, securing the weapon, and managing to keep him from leaving the space, all while Smith herself was unarmed.
When he walked up to me, I didn't care who he was. It was just, I was worried about getting him safe.
No choice but to remain calm. Smith says she had to mask her own fear in order to do her job.
But I wouldn't change anything that I did either.
I remember you saying how you genuinely felt like he was scared in that moment. Do you still stand by that?
I do.
Pollard argued self-defense throughout 5 days of trial this past February prior to his guilty plea. His team has since tried to take back the plea, but a judge denied that motion. Pollard is sentenced to 25 years behind bars. This is the second annual tournament held in honor of Nick Booth and Will Hammett. I'm told they both were role models for young kids in the community. So while the event is partially about emphasizing the importance of safe driving, it's also a way for the two teens to continue to make a difference even after their deaths.
They were loved, they were respected. The way they lived will be remembered more than the way they died.
Nick Booth and Will Hammett were seniors at James River High School when their lives were cut short before graduation. Chesterfield County Police confirmed the boys died in a speed-related single-vehicle crash. But Nick's father, David Booth, reminding the community,
they were more than just a horrible car accident on April 11th, 2023.
They were teammates, friends, and to young campers, Mr. Nick and Mr. Will. We're told the boys dedicated their time on Earth to motivating, loving, and supporting others. Now that legacy living on, evidenced by Jack Cardian and Eric Jackson, current James River seniors.
We want to make sure the qualities of who they were are really exemplified.
Inspired to help future generations by raising money through the Rapids Forever 3-on-3 basketball tournament this coming Sunday. The money will go towards scholarships for chosen James River students with a clean driving record who exemplify the same community spirit and compassion Nick and Will were known for.
I know that he wanted his future to be way beyond this, and I think we want to use this as a way to help somebody make that bridge, to make that step forward.
Booth says grief isn't something you can put a timeline on. His family and the Hammets taking it day by day.
Some days are good and some days aren't.
Their mission, to create more good days for families and drivers across Central Virginia, raising awareness about the dangers of speeding while reminding people who Nick and Will really were.
This is a way to keep their legacy alive and still deliver that message of what could have been or what might have been and what was tragically lost that day. Don't ever forget how special he was to you, and try to be special like that to other people.
Event organizers have already raised more than $10,000. The tournament starts at 11 o'clock Sunday morning at James River High School. We have additional information for attendees on our website, WRIC.com.